Okay, so when you all are ready, so am I.
It is common to hear from older generations that while they were in high school, it was considered cool or popular to smoke cigarettes. Teen smoking in the U.S. is now at an all-time low, but a new epidemic has emerged. This epidemic is teen vaping. This has led our group to research the question, what has been the effect of using vaping devices among teenagers?
When you imagine a person that smokes a pack a day, what do you see? Do you see someone with wrinkly skin, a hoarse voice, smoker's cough? And when you walk by them, you can almost smell the cigarette smoking smell. Now imagine a kid that vapes. What do you see? A youthful image with a fruity smell, someone that is smart and popular. It is hard to imagine that both of the smokers and the vapor have the same amount of nicotine. Juul released in their own website that there are 40 milligrams of nicotine in a single pod, the equivalent to one pack of cigarettes that smoker a day smokes. This leads me to my first point, nicotine addiction. It is the most prominent issue in teenage vaping. According to a Mayo Clinic Q&A article, the brain is not fully developed until age 25. In this picture, you can see that the younger brains, in 5-year-old and preteen, that they are more yellow and green and red, and that the older 20-year-old and up brain is more blue and purple, representing a more mature brain. Exposure to nicotine in a younger brain has detrimental effects. The nicotine addiction issue has been downplayed as there has been a rise in opioids and higher drugs that have more detrimental effects on your health and death rather than nicotine, which is just kind of, get a buzz and go on. But it is an addiction nonetheless. It is hard to quit and causes symptoms of depression and irritability when trying to quit. Nicotine also has a negative effect on brain chemistry and behavior. Synapses are connections between nerve cells in your brain. When you're in your youth, your brain builds synapses faster than an adult does. According to the U.S. Surgeon General, every time a new skill is learned or a new memory is formed, synapses are built. Nicotine causes a ripple effect on these synapses, causing harm to the parts of the brain that are responsible for learning and attention. Brain changes also cause behavioral changes. Nicotine primes teens for future drug use and behavior that is out of character for the individual, but lets them think that it's okay to use other drugs in the future, such as marijuana and cocaine. Medical research is limited as teens won't want to participate in tests and surveys from medical institutions because of the sensitivity to the issue. This is a new epidemic also. There's limited research on long-term effects and effects that haven't been discovered or are barely present. There are also unknown risks that are presented in here.
According to a study done by the National Institutes of Health in 2017, 16.6% of seniors reported vaping in the last month. It also stated that 6% of 8th graders reported vaping in the last month. The sad fact is that more than half of vape users between the ages of 15 and 24 did not realize that vape contained nicotine. Vaping devices have become very easily to conceal. Teachers have discovered that students are able to hide vaping devices in their sleeves or shirt collars to vape during classes. Vaping can also be hidden in bathrooms. Vaping is a distraction in the classroom. It not only distracts the vapor, but it distracts other students. Not only is it a distraction, vaping devices affect your brain capability and therefore affecting your learning ability. The adolescent brain is extremely sensitive to nicotine effects. When nicotine is inhaled into the body, it affects the teen's memory capability and their attention processing. This causes my next point, changing in the future. When teens' memory is affected, it may cause their grades to drop, affecting their ability to get into a good college to pursue a higher level of education. With the new introduction of new vapes in schools have had to implement new rules to deal with these issues. Some of these include banning flash drives, removing the door to bathrooms, and suspension.
A study done by the University of Michigan showed that 69% of teenagers use vaping devices for amusement, relaxation, and stress relief. This leads me to the social implications that vaping has. There are many common misconceptions about vaping, and one among worried parents is that teen vaping and smoking cigarettes have a direct correlation. This, in most cases, however, is not true. A University of Michigan study showed that only 7% of 12th graders who vape have ever tried cigarettes, and of that 7%, many did not like it and moved again. The lives of teenagers can be filled with lots of stress and challenges due to school and their social lives. This has led many teenagers to turn to vaping as a way to combat these feelings. When someone uses a vaping device containing nicotine, chemicals are released into their brain that cause temporary feelings of pleasure and calmness. This is why many teens view it as an effective stress reliever. Peer pressure has also become a major factor in teens beginning to vape. The social perception of vaping among teenagers is that it is something that is cool and popular to do, causing many to pick up the habit out of the desire to fit in or feel accepted.
This graph from Euromonitor International, a company that provides market research on consumer goods, serves as a depiction of America's dominance in the vaping industry. In 2016, the U.S. vaping industry was valued at $13 billion and has since grown. Behind the U.S. is Japan, although they only represent 15% of the United States' economy. A major concern with vaping companies is that they have directed their advertising towards teens. Because of Juul's massive control, they're often at the center of these attacks. They will depict young teens who enjoy vaping as a leisure activity. Because of this, Juul suspended much of their social media in late 2018. Juul is not the only company responsible, however, they are the biggest. Another concern is the declined interest in traditional smoking. Because of the growing popularity of vaping, traditional smoking companies have taken a toll. Altria Group, one of the world's most recognizable smoking companies, took a different approach, taking a 35% stake in Juul Labs in 2018. They claim to hope to share similar goals as Juul in reducing the number of people who use traditional cigarettes. One of the few positive things to come of this is an increase in jobs. Through more shops being open and more products being produced, the demand for workers has increased drastically. However, this does not outweigh the negative impacts.
How do all these lenses connect, you may ask? Well, the medical lens connects to the educational lens due to the negative effect on the brain affecting the students' educational performances. The economical perspective is connected to the social and educational lens due to the students buying vapes and supporting these businesses. All four of these lenses are connected by the negative effects caused by nicotine.
As a group, we came up with many potential solutions that were representative of our individual research. Our first solution was that parents should have talks with their children to discuss the potential negative impacts of vaping. However, we view this as ineffective, and it would require the parents to take initiative in the situation. Another solution we analyzed was punishments, whether in school or by local law enforcement. In-school suspension and mandatory drug tests should be implemented, as they already have in some states, as a punishment for being caught vaping in school. The limitation of this, however, is that they may not be strict enough and teens will resume vaping. The last solution that we proposed was organizations like the Truth Initiative. The Truth Initiative is an organization dedicated to achieving a culture where all youth reject tobacco use. By advertising teen-friendly ads, this company has helped to deter many teens from using vapes. As a group, we analyzed the limitations and implications of all these proposed solutions to formulate one solution.
One thing the vast majority of teenagers have in common is education. So it makes sense to implement educational programs within school, like the Catch My Breath and Tobacco Use Prevention Education, otherwise known as TUP. These solutions were presented to the George Lucas Educational Foundation in an article written by Holly Corby. The Catch My Breath program teaches middle and high schoolers how they're exposed to cunning marketing strategies, harmful effects of vaping, how to refuse and combat publicity by social media. It works directly in classrooms to reach as many teenagers as possible. On the other hand, the Tobacco Use Prevention Education program uses social and emotional learning approach. Educators in Orange County, California are working to integrate this into schools. They have a four-part approach which educates, gives resources, conducts student-led projects, and offers advice to kids caught instead of punishments. Every solution has limitations and benefits. No school has excess amount of funding, and this takes money and time. It is more effective, but will never be 100% effective. The benefits are that schools are a safe space for some kids. They feel more comfortable and they will be more open to talk with staff members. It is also efficient. Most people are at school and it's not a hassle to get them there. Also, it is a positive method. Participants won't be punished but informed, and it rules out the harshness of an angry parent or an apathetic staff member.
In conclusion, all of our individual lenses come together to contribute to the epidemic that is teenage vaping. Through our individual research, we have together identified the best solutions to combat this problem in a social, economical, educational, and medical way. Thank you.
All right. So let me ask you some questions here. Let's see. Spencer, how did the group decide to include Kaylee's perspective in your overall presentation?
Kaylee had the educational perspective on the topic, and while it seemed like common knowledge to us as teenagers, the effects of vaping in the educational lens, Kaylee provided important statistics that helped to further our research and contributed to our overall project.
Okay, thank you. Let's see. Ms. Russell, in what way did you improve your ability to work with a group as a result of the project?
Our perspectives, the social, educational, medical, and economic, were all kind of different, but they all kind of connected in the same way. And if we had to work as a group to find solutions and find a way to piece together our presentation while working in and out of school, especially Spencer's perspective, the economic, because it did have some positives for the economy, where ours was all sort of on the negative side. So I believe that we were able to work as a group very well to piece together our presentation.
Thank you. Kaylee, reflecting on your colleagues' work, which one had the greatest impact on your overall understanding of the problem that your group identified?
I think that Jocelyn's perspective had the greatest impact because of her lens being the medical lens. So it had the most information on the impact of vaping with teens. So it provided the statistics and health risks for it. So I feel like that was the greatest part of our group.
Okay, thank you. And Max, how did the group decide to include Jocelyn's perspective or conclusions into your overall presentation?
So Jocelyn had the medical perspective, and that connects to our other perspectives in ways that you might not think, like the side effects that nicotine can have on the brain. Now it can affect the ways that teenagers perceive information they learn in school, which connects it to Kaylee's perspective, which was educational, and how it connects to how they interact with, how students interact with each other, which connects to my perspective.
Very good. Thank you, guys.